Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Kharak Cup number 9. It's going to be from round 4, of course, the last round of the qualifier section right here. Going to be a match between Mazrym and myself. And for me, there's really no worry in this thing. What am I trying to say? Point is, I've gone undefeated so far, I think, right? Is that actually true? Yes, it is. I had a bye in the first round, so that's kind of fake, but, you know, whatever. But then I haven't lost a single match yet, so I'm definitely going to be up in the bracket. This match actually could be important, because I believe if I don't win this one, I might have to play against Descara. Well, no, that would happen if Descara... No, yeah, maybe that's true. So the point is, I still want to win this, obviously. I don't want to throw it, but... it's not really the most important. I'm definitely going... Oh, wow, look at me just losing 70 HP on the probe right in the beginning of the game. Sorry. I know, I criticize people for that all the time, and then I did it immediately. But look, I'm not a Coalition main, okay? But the map is going to be Kalash Teeth, and I don't want to, I forgot about this. Yeah, I remember. So, this is a fun match, because, like, in the beginning of the game, I tell these guys, hey, go over here. But I accidentally click there, so they just kind of move there and don't do anything. But, like, tell me what's in the middle of these guys? Because that's where they would go, right? If you click here, they'll line up, like, with that in the middle. That's the middle was clearly on that thing, so I feel a little robbed there. Gonna lose my probe actually to an LAV right here, and I did not see tech, so I felt a little bit silly for losing the probe there, but that's alright. But anyway, so the map is Kalash Teeth, so I don't want to play Galzian, but I don't really want to play Coalition either, so I say, okay, I'll play Soban here. My opponent is going to be Mazrym, and Mazrym also should be getting into the elimination bracket up on the top side based on the previous games. But he still would like to win this one because, again, it delays, like, or it gives you an easier setup in, like, the elimination bracket, so. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm kind of wondering. No, yeah, I think if he wins this one, it would pair him up with whoever's lower in the bracket, so he won't have to play with either Descara or myself until the elimination, or sorry, until the finals. Which means that Descara and I are playing in the semifinals here, so that obviously makes things easier for him, right? So he's gonna want to win this one if he can. And I know that kind of sounds obvious, but like it is. I don't know. It's good to know like what the weight of a particular match is when you start watching it, because it can kind of influence how people act in it. I'm gonna be going for AAV fabrication just now. I think my idea was actually go Sport Cruiser first, but of course I didn't have anyone on CUs for like 2 minutes into the game. But yeah, AAV's on the way for me now, or the tech at any rate. Mazrym has gone for AAV fabrication himself and then into a Sport Cruiser. Looks like pretty similar to what I'm doing, yeah? Just, you know, 2 minutes ahead or something like that, so that's a great start, obviously. He'll be extracting. I really feel like I don't have that, I don't have, like, the ability to extract here because I couldn't make any units in the beginning, so I don't have anyone out on the field. So I'm just going to choose to keep my base printer back at home, and maybe I can use the targeting jammer if I get pushed by something like AAVs. I wanted to know if they were coming out with that probe early, but he got shot down pretty sillily, if that's a word. Mazrym getting that carrier production upgrade, he's going to be on 2 bases quite safely, and then he'll be moving probably into AAVs. My Sport Cruiser just now finishing, which is in the nick of time because someone's just now taking damage. And I'm going to move my carrier back off in this direction. And now I want to see, like, okay, what's the economic situation for my opponent? I am going to see he's on 2 bases, and then I'll see if I can get sight of the carrier, I believe, to try and figure out what his tech choice is. Or maybe I already did. Not totally sure. Oh yeah, see, there you go. So I'm going to see, yep, AAVs. No railguns just yet. And it's a bit curious how Mazrym hasn't really made any AAVs to push. Obviously, he wasn't expecting me to do something like that in the early game, so he can't know that, right? But I think going for AAV tech early like that, you probably are conveying the idea that you want to push and try to do some economic damage with them, but he hasn't pushed out at all, so that's really good for me. I think I actually could have really taken a lot of damage if that had happened, but... And then he's going to go for railgun fabrication now. I'll do that as well, but a bit later. And the way I like to play Soban generally is just doing AAVs and rails together, because I feel like they go well together because they have the same upgrade line. I can transition to LAVs if I want to, but then that's not even a problem, right, if I switch from AAVs to LAVs, because the upgrades for the AAVs are also for the railguns, so it's very efficient in that way. And I think that because the Soban rails are really good, this is like a very strong strategy that can just kind of work out in general for you, especially in the mid game. Gonna see if I can do some harassment here on his salvagers, but this guy being healed by support cruisers is not going to take very much damage, as I'm sure you can tell. But at least I'll tie down this AAV for a little bit of time. Did I really smoke the LAVs right there? I guess my idea was like, well, I don't want to take damage from them, but that's kind of dumb, especially now that there's like a turret out. The turret will go down, but yeah. Kind of silly. So railgun fabrication is finished for me right now. I'm not going to make any just yet because I haven't seen any AAVs except this one back at home. My first goal is obviously going to be to expand. So that's what I'll do. Sport cruiser coming out here. Now he did get that extraction and he killed the AAV with those LAVs. Since it had taken so much damage by the turret. This guy's still alive, obviously. I mean, with armor upgrades, it's going to take like an eternity for this AAV to kill him, so. But here's some rails. Ain't nothing I can do about that, so that AAV will finally get killed here. Maybe if he can get behind this hill, I'm thinking I can kind of delay things just a bit, but... And this base runner is going to extract. He'll take damage, obviously, but I can heal him up later if I need to. I thought it was worth it for the extraction, definitely. Now this base runner here is going to do something pretty nice, pretty cheeky. He's going to put down a turret on my third. And that's really nice because I'm not going to move my carrier there, probably. Most likely I'm just going to move a support cruiser there. And once I see it, I'm going to have to back away and then come into something else. So I think it's a really cool move, actually. I'm quite pleased to see it. Gonna want to see what the status of his economy and his units are with my probe here. Gonna see a railgun there, but these salvagers here tell me that he's not got a third base set up just yet. And that makes me feel very good, makes me feel very confident. Because I know I was very behind in the beginning here. At this point, I'm feeling like the game has stabilized more or less. And I'm doing okay. ALMs could be powered up here, actually. It's a little sloppy of me, but... Yeah, I think Mazrym's turret usage so far has been very good. Haven't really seen him put down any turrets that are like, why are you doing this? You know, they all seem to make a lot of sense. Now you can see I'm keeping AAVs on all of like the kind of entrance ways just to make sure I don't get run over by strike craft. I'm gonna back these guys away now because I see those railguns. In fact, this base runner really should have backed away too. He's gonna get killed here. But yeah, I just don't want to get run by strike craft at all. And if I give some ground here, I usually want to take a bit on this side too, so you see those guys moving forward just a bit. But yeah, turret will go down, these guys can start mining, and it looks like both of us going to be on a third base at about the same time. Unless his carrier is going to try to move forward here, but that's a little suspect. If he's trying to make a momentum play only off Power Reserve 2 and 2 artifacts, and he has no rails on the field except for these two, don't think he'll be able to succeed, but we'll see. Maybe he's got a plan. But yes, I'm just getting on my third base just now. Gonna just try to macro up as many railguns as I can. One thing that would make this interesting is if we saw an air transition from either player, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case for him as he goes down the assault cruiser line. Very RU heavy, you're not going to transition to air from this. And I just don't really have any interest in that, generally speaking. Well, not always, but in this game I didn't really have any interest in that, so... Look at the armor, the upgrades right here. Mag Accelerator not finished for Mazrym. He's obviously prioritizing those carrier power reserves. And he's on 1 armor level lower than me. I'm on 2, he's on 1. Actually, run by LAV is going to catch these rails a bit out of position right here. But I can go for a bit of a pincer moving down in that direction. I've got an AV moving up here, but he's definitely spotted by the probe, so... Not expecting much to come of that. You can see me using Mark Target there. The idea is just to help the railguns hit them because they get more accuracy if Mark Target is applied. And there's an ALM here too, so no rail's going to go down there, but it is going to push me back a little bit. However, I see his carrier out here now, so I know that this is going on. And I thought it was a bit odd. You can see me making AAVs right here to deal with the strike craft, because there's quite a few of them. And they could try for a run-by here. I'm quite glad that they didn't, because it would be a little bit annoying to deal with, but, yeah, I also have the base runner here to put down a targeting jammer, so that I could potentially make that take a long time for him. But yeah, I'm going to run in with all these AAVs here, so the double base runner is going to set down a turret to try and stop me. Using smoke, I make it so that only one of them can shoot at me, and then I'm going to be able to push in anyway. And that makes me very happy. I think this is going to be a very powerful backstab here. Meanwhile, the carrier, you know, in this kind of momentum play, you want to push out with like 20 railguns or something like that. I mean, not really, but, you know, a lot of railguns is the idea. But actually, the 3 that were here have all backed away now, so I could really just move these rails out and put a lot of pressure down on that carrier at this point. I'm also pushing him off of his third base, and he can move on to that, or his main, that is. He can move on to his third, but definitely not what he wants to do. Also, look how many base runners are out on the field for him. I didn't realize this in-game. That's kind of overkill, I think. Probe of Mine finally does get killed here. Now, there is a lot of damage, so I'm gonna take a lot of hits as I come around this hill here, but I'll do a lot of damage too, so I'm kind of okay with that. Meanwhile, I'm gonna start going. Oh yeah, I literally said I wasn't gonna do that this game. Well, psych! I'm gonna go into fighter and gunship fabrication. Not sure what's prompted me to do this. Maybe I'm just thinking it would be nice to have like air against his rails or something like that, but. Yeah, there's quite a number of AAVs here, so I'm going to have vision on this carrier for a long time, and he doesn't have the power just yet to really be pressuring these rails. So he's going to power up the armor to full, which is probably a good move. Just try to back away with that carrier. These rails are going to run in here and just get like instantly murderized, so that's pretty fun. And as you can see, the rail count now is really just getting out of hand. If he has artillery, that's good. If he has a cruise missile, that can be useful, but it's got neither of those things just yet. So this carrier definitely in a dangerous position. And that's what'll happen if you move it out unsupported that way. That wasn't really a surprise to me. And probably this carrier will get killed now by the rails on this high ground here. And that'll be the game. So I think that's pretty well played by Mazrym. I like his turret positioning and stuff like that. But the decision to go for like a 2-base timing play without really any momentum on the field at that time was a little bit awkward, I think. You know me, always giving orders to my units after the game's already finished. I don't know why I do that, but yeah, you can see they've all been tasked to go attack the main now. But yeah, I think if you're gonna go for like a 2-base like momentum push there, you really have to have momentum on the field before you start moving out. Otherwise, this kind of thing is gonna happen to you. So, no, yeah, well played by Mazrym, but I always win. That's not true, but I did this time.